Moving right along on our agenda, it is now time for our table topics. Our table topics master is April Gilis. April Gilis is a special person to me. She's my daughter. I don't have to do a lot of introduction. Her face is seen within Toastmasters Club. She's assisting with the District 12 leadership team as well. April Gilis will host our table topics questions for this morning. April Gilis.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Seasons of transitions. As your table topics master, I'm so excited to ask a series of questions that will challenge you to think, consider, and to ponder your seasons of transition, both past, current, and future. The first question for today: what do you notice when the weather is changing, and how can you apply this to life? Again, what do you notice when the weather is changing, and how can you apply this to life? Is Brandy Powell available to answer that question?
Oh, goodness. I notice a lot of things, especially having asthma. When I noticed the winds picking up and carrying pollen every which way. Oh my goodness. I actually was at the doctor the other day and I said, "Hey doc, what's going on with my breathing?" He said, "Well, this is a really terrible allergy season we're having and a lot of people are suffering from it." So I said, "What do I do about that?" He said, "Well, try Zyrtec and go on with life." So I think when you think about transitioning and the seasons and things changing, it's one of those things where you find out what's going on, come up with a solution, and carry on with life. And so I would just recommend that everyone take a time out and enjoy the transition of the weather going into the fall season. Be cautious about what's going on because, of course, we get into a mental state of holiday season now that Halloween is over and we move closer to November, the end of November. And I would just say, raise your consciousness and your level of paying attention around you and be safe and have a wonderful fall season.
Thank you so much for answering that question. As a fellow asthmatic, I am very aware of the weather changes as well, especially using my preventative inhaler. My next question: signs of transition indicate some sort of changes are coming. Signs of transition indicate signs of transition indicate changes of some sort are coming. Do you prefer to plan for transition or go with the flow? Again, do you prefer to plan for transition or go with the flow? Werner.
Thank you, Table Topics Master April. I have a little bit of a different career. Actually, I had two careers, one in machines, one in computers. Now, of course, my third career is with people. I did not get into an organization and sit there for 40 years to earn a gold watch. I finally got my nose full with the same old, same old. I just up and quit and go, well, what am I going to do now? And there were back then what were called job shops. Today they're called temporary employment agencies. And I was absolutely jazzed because there was something new to learn now. And I realized, 2 months later, I get laid off because we don't need you anymore. And I am happy. I went to another job and another job and another job. I have worked for well over 50 companies in my temporary career. But there are two things that were really great is I wanted to make sure that every new job had something to teach me to keep my interest. Secondly, I gave myself raises. My minimum rate went up after every job, whether it was 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, whatever. it just was very, very, very liberating for me to be a temp, quote unquote. Many people hate that term, but half of well over 20 years, I have temped my way through my careers, and I am very happy about it. And that includes after 3,000 people were laid off from McDonnell Douglas, and they called me, and I went to work. That's happened several times, along with perm offers. And out of 4 perm offers, I only took one of them. That one was a real nice one, but the other 3, office politics, no thank you. Goodbye. Thank you very much. And I refer back to Table Topics Master, April Gilis.
Thank you so much. I love your perspective on going with the flow from job to job, building a skill set from every company that you can take into your own businesses. I love it. Thank you so much for answering that question, Werner. What was the most pleasant transition you've experienced in your business? What was the most pleasant what was the most pleasant transition you've experienced in your business? Frankie?
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. Gosh, it's been a journey along the way. I grew up in the military, so entrepreneurship wasn't part of the scene at the time. But when my husband and I had an opportunity to start a company, we took a deep breath and we just went for it. And so it was a lot of transitions, a lot of learning. We had a location in Northern California in Hayward. And actually our shop was in San Leandro, close by there. We lived in Hayward. And after about a year, my husband's father found property for us down here in Southern California. And so we transitioned out of the Bay Area down here. We'd only been up there a few years. And having our own land, building, we had contacts down here, so that was really helpful. And it was just a process of growing and learning. And my husband's a hydraulic engineer by experience more than actual learning. And we blossomed. And today my daughter's the CEO, my son runs the shop. Many of our employees have been with us since the beginning. It's truly a family-owned business. We have 4 branches now in Southern California. We did have one in Vegas for a while. And we just keep on keeping on. It's a kind of a niche industry, so the demand for our services is ongoing. And so it's been a pleasant transition all the way along with some scary bumpy rides, but we loved it. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you so much for that explanation of your transitions and having contacts in different places like Roosevelt, having contacts in Barcelona. It's so amazing. My next question, I have a couple more within our time frame. I always heard growing up, generations before me would always say, if I knew back then what I knew now, I would have blank. And it used to drive me crazy. Well, how do I know it right now? I don't want to wait. So with that being said, considering the phrase, if I knew back then what I knew now, I would have blank. What life transition gave you your most memorable lesson that you wish you would have known back then? Musa?
Thank you, Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmaster and guests. Well, always experiences are there for us in life. A new guy, a new baby, or a new place. You don't know anything. But there are people who have been in that new place, in that age, in that area, so they know. So what are they talking is they're talking about experience. And in life, when we came as a baby, we don't know anything. We crawl and we become adults, we learn. After 50 years old, we say, "Oh, I should have learned this. I could have gone this. I could have." So this is just a way I think we have to live. And there is no school. There is no one school which teach everything. Even the universities now, they teach you a business license, but they don't know how to do, even in some cases, a small detail, how to talk to a customer. There is nothing like that. So in a general sense, it's a daily learning, and we are learning every day. So I say, when you hear these things, it's a better way is to stop them and say, what was that knowledge you could have had, and that you could benefit from it for the coming. And even you could teach it or tell it to other people, so at least the other people also should not ask or don't have to ask. So this area is always learning. Our life is a learning phase, but the more you associate with people, the more you learn. So yes, there are experiences we do not know. I don't know. Everybody else doesn't know. But the more we learn, we pick up those and we pass it. So I wouldn't be worried about it. I will be happy, but ask a question before you leave them. What was that experience? So I learned something from you. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much. Our last question for this morning. How do you transition your Toastmaster experiences into leverage for your business? How do you transition your Toastmaster experiences into leverage for your business? Mona Lisa.
Thank you, April. I was just thinking about that. I believe so many of the skills that we hone and improve upon and even learn through Toastmaster are truly transferable. And when I'm a certified life coach, so often when I'm talking to people, I will bring up, if I feel that Toastmaster will help them, bring up what they can learn. For instance, and we don't think about the seniors that are having a hard time when they go to the doctor and they're trying to explain to the doctor what is going on. The doctor really doesn't have time for them to be rambling off. So I could see if you join Toastmasters, we have table topics, you have speech, so you learn to be concise and say what you have to say in a very short period of time. Business people that are afraid to give, you can go to Toastmasters, try your idea on Toastmasters, see how that works. I myself, when I have something new, that I will do a speech around it and get feedback. So there are many ways that we can leverage what we learn in Toastmaster in our personal life and our work, and even as we are parenting and grandparenting, because we learn the different types of leadership and what works best on what child. So there's just a gamut of things that we can employ that we've learned through Toastmasters. Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much. I love it. I never thought about the ability to empower those who are speaking to medical professionals to use Toastmasters. That's huge. As I've worked in public health and worked in different communities, advocacy for yourself is so important. So thank you again for each of you who participated in our table topics. I would now like to return conduct to our Toastmaster of the morning as we transition our season to our next portion. Thank you.